Hello friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh from CindyLeeBeDesigns.com, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today's card is a Waterfall Fun Fold, and I've done a few of these and made a couple videos, but I just wanted to do one with this Brewed for You stamp set. It's a bundle coming out in the new annual catalog on May 3rd, 2022 from Stampin' Up! And it uses this great set that has beer mugs in it and a wine glass and all kinds of dies to cut them out. And it even has these fun dies that you can use, that you can layer. Let me see if we can see this here a little better here. I am just playing around with this one, but you could put like a nice craft beer in there. You could do it also with the beer mug here. And I seem to have misplaced my little piece of wine, but you can also put the wine in there. It has like some bubbles in it. So that's pretty cute die too. And I can't remember the name whenever you bring these jugs to a craft beer place, what that's called. I have to ask my son. It's not like a pint, but a growler, that's what it is. So it has a growler on there too. So I made this one with the wine glasses because my husband loves Cabernet and Merlot, and that's usually the only kind he does from California. And so why I always say, don't exotic French wines. He goes, I just like the Californias. So this one has the wine glasses here, and I'm going to make one with the same design, but totally different look, and it's going to use this mug here, the beer mug here. Now, this one here, I used a Mary Merlot paper, of course, because the Mary Merlot ink, Merlot, and I used the In Good Taste paper for the background. This wood grain reminded me of the wine barrel. So we are going to make that same card, but this one, we're going to be using a different image. Okay, so full disclosure, I was making another video, messed something up terribly, so I had to start over. So the first thing I'm going to show you we're going to do here is the back of the card. Now the back piece of here, now you could make this a full-size card if you just use a full size, and I did do that with my Mother's Day and my baby card because I wanted to write a message in, but you actually have a message space right here, so you don't technically need it unless you'd like it to sit upright. That's what I kind of like about a card. I usually don't like to do just flat ones, but I did do it on this one. So you're going to start with a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 early espresso. Now on my blog, I have all the measurements and the colors and additional photos. So right underneath the YouTube description, you'll see visit my blog here. Press that link and it takes you over to CindyLeeBeDesigns.com. You can subscribe and get notified 3 times a week, usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday, with a video on Wednesday of my cards. Also underneath the YouTube video, you'll find the measurements and the links to my online store with the products in there also. Okay, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now, I was looking to make my background piece here, and I thought of the wood that would look nice under there. And then I came up with just taking a piece of my basic white and stamping this awesome mug all over the white, okay? And this is what I came up with. Does that just pop? Now, there is a stamp that fits into the mug, and I played around with that and I did like it, but then I thought, oh, you know what, I wonder what it would look like with my blends. So I just took my dark daffodil blend and I just easily just colored all those in, and I liked the pop of seeing the white in between the columns. So it just I just thought really popped well. So I just colored them all in. Now, the thing with this card is you're going to put a strip across here. And the reason why this strip is here is because I messed up another piece and this was already done. And it would have been a little tedious to, redo all that. So I just left it this way. But when once I put that on there, I just took that 1 inch by 4 inch strip and I just counted up 1 inch. And so 1 inch from the bottom of my card up to here, and I put it straight across there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you're using a ruler when you're making this, you would just on your card say, okay, I want to go 1 inch up from the bottom, not from the white or your designer series part, but the bottom of your card. So I just went up and I did a 1 inch up there. Okay, so we've got that 1 inch wide, 4 inches wide and 1 inch, no, I guess we would call that 4 inches in length, and width was 1 inch. Okay, so all you do, stamp those mugs, color those mugs in, or stamp them in, and you've got the card base. Now you need the mechanism that is going to go through here. Now, as you notice, this is sliding underneath this strip that went across. So when you put this strip here, you're only putting adhesive on the very ends. So I put a little piece of tear tape here and a little piece here, because you want to have this part open. So you can see that's where your sliding mechanism is going to go in. Okay, so you're going to take a piece of your early espresso, or whatever color you've chosen to use, 2 3/4 wide by 8 5/8. 8 5/8. So when you're using a ruler, in between the two, we can even use this, in between the 2 inch marks, like say here 3 and 4, halfway is this longer one, and that's 3 1/2. Now over here, this is going to be 1/4, and then down 1 is 1/8, and then even down 1 to the smallest mark is 1/16. So there's 16 spaces in between each inch. Halfway is 8 spaces, 1/4 of the way is 4 spaces, and then 1 space is 1/16. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to 8 5/8. So that would mean when I cut this, I went to 8 1/2, and then I went over another 1/8, because that was right there. So that was 8 5/8. And then I actually don't need it put out, so I'm just going to do it this way. So once we take that 8 5/8 piece up towards the top, we're just going to do a couple scores, and we're just going to go to 1 3/4. Make sure that dark blade's at the top, and use your lighter blade. 1 3/4, and then we're going to go to 2 1/2. Then we're going to go to 3 1/4, and then the last score is 4. And this is going to be the mechanism that goes into, it's going to go with the longer piece going through here, and then what we're going to be doing is adhering this piece down here. But we're going to put a little decorative edge on here. You could just leave it this way if you want and pull it out, but when you have that little edge, and I'm just going to use one of my tag topper punches. I can't even remember which ones are still current, but if you have one of these, this is great. And this is going to be coming through here, so it's much easier to punch this while it's outside. So if it's going to be this way, this is going to be your good edge. Okay, so just kind of slip it through here. Your folds it's going to get adhered here, but this is where you're going to tag punch. Now the tag punch topper punches only are 2 inches wide, so you just have to kind of put it into your punch, slide it in there, and then make sure that you have the same amount of space showing on each side. So that looks to be about right. See, there's about the same amount of the lighter gray of the tag topper showing. That looks good to me. Then you just turn it back and make sure this, now see here, it's not the whole way down. There we go. Make sure it's flush there. Now let's just make sure it's, yep, okay, and then we're going to punch that. Okay, then you're going to be left with a couple little legs here, and you're just going to have to cut those little legs off. There we go, easy enough. Just go right over to where that 2 inch part is on your punch. Okay, so that is my punch. Okay, and if you like one side looks cleaner than the other, they usually just look about the same to me. Let me get that. Oh gosh, are my scissors. You guys got a close-up of how they need cleaned there. Okay, so we've got our punch there, and then we're going to put it into our card. So this is the way it's going to be, and the only part that's adhered to this thing, see, free flowing because you have no adhesive in the middle, and then this piece is just going to get adhered to here. You can leave this piece in if you want, or you can leave it out. Whichever way you want to do. I find it easier when I have a little more ability to move my paper through. So I am going to get my tear and tape that I knew I had it directly here. And I'm going to put it, now look at the way the card looks. It's going to go under here. So just make sure you're putting it on the right side. If you put it on the wrong side, all you would do is, flip your, fold it the other way. It wouldn't really be a big mess. So I'm going to put my tear and tape across the bottom, and I love the tear and tape because no scissors are needed unless you do overhang. Okay, so then we're going to be adhering this here. Now think of it, it's on the top, and then this is going to go underneath. Okay, so this is going to go underneath so we can move it, and this goes on top. And if you want to do it, like I said, you can do it that way, but I find I have more ability to slide it around. It's not as cumbersome when I'm trying to get it, eyeball it into the into place. And it's about 3 blocks, but it's a little hard to see that far down. So just eyeball that you have about the same amount of cardstock showing on each side. There we go. And so it's only adhered right there. And don't you just love the way this pops off of here? I mean, I like that you could quickly stamp it, but I just love the white showing through there. So now we're just going to put that tag back through the bottom, okay? Then we're going to flatten this tag out so that all of my little scores that I made are flat. So you have a piece here, a bigger piece, and then you have 3 equal sections there. So you want to make sure that you have it folded this way. You don't want it folded this way, because you want to see all 3 of them. Because if you're making a certain card that has images or words that are going to say something, then you want to make sure that you don't mess up the way it is. Now mine, I'm just going to be putting beer mugs on here. So what you're going to do is, I had already done this too. So what I did is I just cut myself the Early Espresso larger square that's on this type of card with the 2 3/4 is going to be 2.5 inch square. And then the next layer in, I went 2 1/4. Now say I wanted to, I did try this making this even tinier border here, but then in the end I came back to this nice border because of the because it fits on there bordered nicely there. Now another thing I noticed when I put these together is you could have easily done the mechanism in the crushed curry and then did this in the espresso and then did this. Like it could have been, you can really play around with the colors, but I kind of just went with all of the Early Espresso. But looking back, it would have looked really cute seeing that difference rate there of the colors. So you can play around and see how that works. So what I did here is I just did the same thing I did on the background. I stamped this, colored in with my dark daffodil blend, and then I stamped this one. I do believe I did soft saffron, saffron on that one. I'm not sure if I used, it wasn't crushed curry, and I don't think it was the daffodil either. I think what I did was use saffron. And so I die cut both of those, layered them together, and just put them on each of my squares here. And I tilted my mugs to go the other way, like you're, cheering somebody on, okay? So here we go. What we want to remember is, and this is where it makes it easier if you have a different color, this is going to be adhered to the top rectangle, only on the top portion. So what you want to do is turn your squares over, making sure that they're going the right way, and you're going to just put some tear and tape right on the very edge, the very, very edge. Okay, and tear. Hard to do. I'm trying not to be in the video. Trying just to keep the card in the video. There we go. And one more piece. Okay, see how easy that is with the tear and tape? Remember the red line tape we used to have, and had to snip everything? Okay, so we're just gonna come back and take off these adhesive edges here. Okay, take this one off. When I made this other one with the baby pool toys. I used a bunch of different colors. And then I did one, and you just put into my search bar the name of the stamp set or the kind of stamp set or kind of card I mentioned. If I mention it's a tri-fold fun card or something like that, just put that in the search bar and then you'll be able to find the card I did. It's right underneath my photo in that right column on my blog. Okay, so we're gonna put this one right here. And like I said, it's a little hard to see when you're using the same color, but you're just putting the equal border. There's an equal border of espresso on each side and across, okay? And like I said, this is I should have switched the colors to show you. So once you have that one flat there, you're going to pull your tab, pull it so that it flattens to the next tab. So you can see this next section right here. Oh, kids, it would have been so much easier if I did this a different color for you. So now we're gonna make that same amount of border on the top, left and right. Now I have seen some of these cards done where they actually put it almost flush with that. You could also do that. You just don't wanna have it hanging over the score line where it's folded because that'll impede it. So then we pull the next one down and you'll see the next section that we have here. And then we're just going to do that once again, put an equal amount on both sides and on the top. And we put our last mug and it just opens up again. And then you have this section here. And this section, of course, this is why I made a waterfall card, another round for your birthday. So that, and the measurements for these are also on my blog. So I put that one there. And then there's a larger section where you're going to write your message. And I said, I owe you one or several. So you've got, you can put that there. And that's where you can write your message. A really great thing with this stamp set is that it has this one thing. It says OL yes. So you could also put that in there too to round that out. So I just really love this, the way it was like another round, you know, and it's just a bunch of beer mugs. So isn't that just so cute? And you can also make it with the wine glasses. So a Waterfall Fun Fold, it's a fun one. And I made my own designer series paper by stamping my mug and coloring on the yellow. So if you have any, oh, you want to put a little bit of something to tie this together. I'm going to find out what I'm going to put there. Here I just used our old linen twine. So I'm going to use one here. So check on my blog to find out what I put here. So thanks for buzzing by, friends.